Okay, it would appear the live stream is up and running, so I'm just going to go and check the volume levels, make sure that I'm beating the sounds of the aeroplanes nearby. Obviously we're stood outside on the ground at Ento or Torp in Norway near Sandefjord, and now we're inside and it's nice and quiet, so we don't have to shout anymore. Hurrah! Okay, so we're going to be flying the Fenix A320 from Torp up to, well, I'll show you on the map, shall I? Up to Tromso. So we're down here at the southern end of Norway, near Sandefjord, and we're going to fly straight up Norway and hopefully turn around and come into Tromso. So if we go and show the procedures here, obviously we're coming in runway 18, which has ILS. So there is a Zulu on 18 as well, which goes out all the way to Ogbod. So if we go and if we extend this out, has this got a transition for non-RU? Yes, it has. So insert that, so that gives you more of an idea of the approach. So let's have a look at that in Navigraph as well, just to get an idea. So we'll zoom in at this end of the map and go and select the ILS Zulu runway 18, and it will almost certainly, it's gone and selected the transition. Navigraph's pretty good at doing that, which will then obviously give us the charts to look at while we're en route. Okay, so here's our standard instrument departure we'll be doing. Should we pull the chart up and have a little look before we get going? Okay, so it's the Elvo 3 Golf standard instrument departure, which will take us off towards the northeast, obviously. Let's go and have a look. So transition altitude 7,000 feet. We're just getting familiar with some of the things we're going to be doing on the way out. It should be straightforward. Okay, so I'm also going to be using Say Intentions to give us some sensible air traffic service coverage and some aeroplanes being injected into the airspace around us along the way. So it should make it fairly straightforward. And we'll see how we get on. I've not flown the Fenix for ages, but an A320 is an A320, so I'm not anticipating any major disasters along the way, but who knows, maybe we will have things. I'm just going to go and check the controls before we get going, so let's just lift this lever up and see if these controls remember where their detents are. So there's the idle, there's climb, there's flex, there's toga. Yeah, they look good. Okay, what about flaps? Are they still remembering their detents? Looks like they are. How about the spoilers? Yep, that's looking good as well. Let's go and check the stick. Aileron movement looks good. Elevator movement looks good. Rudder movement looks good. Okay, so let's go and switch the tablet on in the aeroplane. And it says we have a side stick fault. A fault has been detected with your side stick controller dead zones. We'll dismiss that. I think it will be fine. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go into the Fenix app or Fenix app and go and pull up the flight details. So Ento through to ENTC, which is Tromso. And then we'll go into the Mass and Balance app and we will load the aircraft instantly based on the plan we've just got. And then we won't send it to the MCDU just yet. We'll wait until we get to that point. We'll also go and look at ground services, just make sure we've got the GPU connected to the aeroplane. And we'll be using the pushback controls a little bit later on. Okay, so that's all we need to do for the moment. We've got some fuel into the aeroplane. And we'll go overhead. So Shift and 5 should take us overhead. And then we'll go and put the batteries on. And then external power is available, so we switch it on. And then we can go and switch the master switch on for the APU. And start the APU straight away. While we're doing that, we'll go and put the strobe onto auto. And then nav and logo lights can go to 1. Oxygen crew supply can go to on. The emergency exit light can go to armed, and the no smoking sign can go to the auto or middle setting. So then we're going to go and rotate the ADIRS, Air Data Inertial Reference System, knobs to nav on each system. And then we're going to program the flight plan using Simbrief. We're not going to do it manually. So press Shift and Space to come down back into the cockpit. Then press Shift and 3 to look at the tablet. So we've pulled the flight in. We've done the mass and balance already. So I guess the trick here is we could send it to the MCDU now. So let's just go and have a quick look. Yep, MCDU is up and running. And it has got the FMGC here. So if we go in here, you'll see GPS primary loss. That's because it hasn't got alignment yet, and we've got like about over 7 minutes to go. So we've got lots of time to talk around doing things. So we'll send this to the MCDU. And then if we come down here and press init, we get init request available. And we'll do that, and it should load the route, fingers crossed, touch wood. There it goes, ENTO to ENTC. Flight number, let's go and start referring to our Simbrief flight plan. So I've put in VFA 073. So VFA 073. It's worth pointing out that Say Intentions doesn't always understand the airline. I ought to go and tell them the details about it. So VFA is Virtual Flight Online, or the Virtual Flight Online Airline, hence A. Cost index is going to be 1.3. That's quite low, isn't it? Cruise flight level for today is going to be initial 13,000 feet, but then up to 360, 370. So I'm going to put in 370 for our ultimate cruise altitude and clear the messages out. And we're going to go into wind and go and do a wind request. So all of the information we can assemble to help the MCDU is, or the flight management computers is, obviously useful. So that's the wind data uplink done. Come back. We'll go and check on the IRS initialization. Yeah, that's all looking fine. Okay, so then we can go sideways, and you can see fuel planning here. If we go back over to payload, I would have thought that would have filled it in actually. So when we send this to MCDU, does it? Yeah, there we go. Look, it's filled it in now. Okay. So then we can go into flight plan, and we'll go and finish the rest of the flight plan off. So the departure from ENTO, if we go and look in Simbrief, is the Elvo 3 Golf, runway 18. So runway 18 and Elvo 3 Golf, and insert that. And then the arrival into Tromso at the moment that we're expecting is going to be runway 18 with the Atway 2 mic. So we said Zulu earlier, didn't we, when we were looking at the route, and it's the Atway 2 mic. Insert, and that should work it all out. So let's go and have a scroll through and see if there's any discontinuities along the way. No, that's all looking okay until we got into the last bit. The reason for that, if I go and look in this again, if we go arrival and we said ILS Zulu, can we clear this? Let's go and do a different one. Then arrival. Yeah, it's going to want to go with that one now, isn't it? Can we clear this out? Nope. That's rather interesting. I thought you could do that. I wonder if we clear that. Nope, it won't do that either. Okay, so we'll just choose a different one for the moment and then put it back. So insert that, then go back in here and go arrival and Zulu, Mike, That's interesting. Why is it not giving us the transitions? Anyway. So between non-route and Ogbod, so if I go and show you that on the map, we'll figure out what we need to do. Non-route and Ogbod, it's obviously just got no piece of routing there because it didn't pull up a transition, which is interesting to me. But anyway, clear that. It's not going to hurt anything, and that cleans our route up. So that's all done. If we go and look in performance now, we should be able to get the performance data as well from the MCDU, or sorry, from the tablet. So if we go into departure performance and sync the load sheet, sync the weather, calculate, there's all the numbers, and send that to the MCDU, and this has magically filled itself in, which has saved us a lot of hassle. There's our climb performance, there's our cruise performance, and descent, and the approach. Obviously we put those numbers in en route. Okay, so that's that bit done. Next we're going to go Shift and 7, which should show us the Flight Management Guidance Computer, or FMGC. So we're going to press comma to set the QNHs on both sides. We're going to set our target altitude. So our initial target altitude is we're going to get from clearance actually, which will probably not be, if we go and have a look at the SID, it will make some sense when they give us clearance of what they're talking about. So have we got any altitude restrictions? Actually we haven't. So we're going to get clearance first and they'll tell us. Well, that's the plan anyway. So we want say intentions. We're going to go to the... Okay, so where are we going to get it from here? Let's go to ground and ask for clearance. Sandefjord ground, Virtual 073 requesting clearance to Tromso.
Clearance on request, standby.
So just wait for them to come through.
Virtual 073 cleared to Tromso via the LVOM 3 Golf, departure runway 18. Initial climb to 4000. Departure on 124.355, squawk 3327.
Cleared to Tromso via the Elvo 3G departure, runway 18, initial climb 4000, departure 124.355, squawk 3327, Virtual 073.
Virtual 073, readback correct.
Okay, so we need to go and put 4,000 feet into our initial altitude and 3327 into the transponder. So transponder is over here. So clear twice.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Norwegian Airlines and the entire crew, my name is Astrid Hansen, and I would like to welcome you aboard flight number 164 to
Okay,
Tromso.
we'll set the...
We kindly ask you to take your seats according to your boarding passes and stow your hand luggage in the overhead.
We have a slightly different cabin crew today. I'm trying a new one out.
If you need any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out to any member of our crew. Thank you for choosing Norwegian Airlines, and we wish you a pleasant flight.
Very cool. Okay, IR in alignment in 1 minute. So we need to put 4,000 feet on the target altitude, don't we? So 4,000, and you can see already flight directors are on. We've got managed mode showing up across the board, which is good. Okay, so there's not much else we have to do, to be honest. We can put the constraints on, which will show us anything when this switches on. It will show alongside the map anything that we need to be aware of at a glance. Okay, so I'm going to carry on down through my checklist. So uncaged standby attitude is not fitted on this aeroplane. There we go, look, we've got the constraint showing 220 knots and so on and so forth. Check the company messages. We should get a message actually over here. Look, there's company messages available. That will be the load sheets. So we go down here, we press MCDU menu, we go to ATSU and then AOC. And then we go to receive messages and open the first load sheet and accept it and come back. Open the second and accept it and come back. And then pull the flight plan back up. We've got an accuracy upgrade. That's the inertial reference system coming online. So now we've just got the standard messages showing up. So we're going to prepare for pushback now. So back overhead, we're going to go and put the seatbelt signs on, make everybody sit down and do their seatbelts up before we start moving the aeroplane. We've got the APU up and running, so the external power can come off. So back on the tablet, we can go to the Fenix app, or Fenix app, and then we can go to the ground services section, hopefully, and then remove the GPU from the aeroplane, remove the chocks from the aeroplane, make sure all the doors are closed, looks like they are good, and we can use the pushback. So before we do that, I'll just straighten our view up, or get it into a sensible place. We're going to go back over, and did they give us a frequency? No, it's just given us departures. We want ground still at the moment. We're going to be going out towards runway 18. So let's pull up the map of the airport. So runway 18's up there, so I imagine we're going to be going either Charlie or Bravo and then Yankee. But let's ask. Sandefjord ground, Virtual 073 requesting taxi to runway, requesting pushback and engine start. Getting ahead of myself.
Virtual 073, hold position. 737 on the taxiway behind you. I'll have your clearance.
That's my fault. Sandefjord ground, Virtual 073 requesting pushback and engine start.
Virtual 073, push and start approved, face east.
Push and start approved, face east, Virtual 073. So he's just pulling in, isn't he? So looking at the map, to be able to face east, our tail needs to go to the right, to our right. So pushback. We have to connect the truck first, and then start the pushback, take the parking brake off, and then our tail to the right, which means we end up facing east. Well, that's the idea anyway. Let's have a look outside what is going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to flight number 164 to Tromso. Our estimated flight time is 1 hour and 50 minutes. Please pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration, as it contains important information even for frequent
Parking brake
flyers.
back on.
Fasten your seatbelts by inserting
Okay, so beacon lights on, APU bleed
the
on,
seatbelt must be fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is
and fuel pumps on
Please
would be
return
useful
your
as well.
seatbelts and tray tables to the upright position and open your window blinds for takeoff and landing.
Then
Mobile phones and
ignition
electronic
on.
devices must be set to flight mode, and larger devices must be
Waiting for
securely
the
stowed.
signs to catch up with us,
And the use
and
of
then
e-cigarettes are
start
prohibited anywhere
engine
on
number
board,
2.
including
I know lots of people will say the standard
Oxygen masks
procedure
will
these
drop
days with Airbus is
automatically
engine number
required.
1 first.
Hold the mask firmly,
Force of
place it
habit
between
that I
nose
go
and
for number
mouth
2.
and breathe normally. Remember to secure your own mask before assisting others.
So we're just waiting.
Life vest
N2 is
is
the gas
located under your
turbine,
seat.
axle
Put
speed.
it on, fasten it.
Obviously once the fuel injects and ignites, exhaust gas temperature rises,
Floor level lighting will guide
and
you
then
to
the
nearest
turbofan
exit,
will start
which is
spinning.
clearly marked. There are 2 exits at the front and 2 at the rear of the aircraft. The nearest exit may be behind you. In case of evacuation, leave all personal belongings behind and follow all safety instructions from the crew.
Okay,
If a
coming
power
up through
bank or any electronic device becomes
55.
unusually warm or shows signs of damage, please
There we
inform
go.
the crew member immediately.
That engine is
The
available.
safety information card
So
contains all details.
engine number
Thank
1.
you for your attention.
You can see it spinning up. And fuel's been injected, it's starting to warm up, it will suddenly go crazy in a moment. Fuel flow, there it goes, wallop. Okay, we've got a laundry list of other bits and pieces to do, so we want to go and set the predictive wind shear to auto. Slightly different panel on this version of the A320 versus the Builds version. TCAS is still on standby, so it's on auto at the moment, so it should switch on all on its own. We'll see what happens with that. We were told 3327, let's go just double check that. So just scroll back, 3327 is correct. We set our initial climb to 4,000. Okay, so flaps can go to 1. I'll just double check that with the performance calculator. So if we go and look at departure performance, we want... where are we? It's not actually telling me here, is it? Oh, here we go, there we go. Flaps and trim. So THS 0.5. I think it will have set that across because we sent it straight to the computer, but obviously we need to control the flaps manually, so there we go. Let's go and set the ground spoilers as well. So it's all looking good here. Taxi lights, if I can grab the screen with the mouse, taxi lights go to on. Strobes are on auto. I'm just double checking everything as we go. So now the engines are up and running, we can turn the APU bleed off, the APU can come off, the ignition system can go back to norm, and we can taxi out. So we'll go and talk to ground again, have a look at the chart. Sandefjord ground, virtual 073 requesting taxi to runway 18.
Virtual 073, runway 18, taxi via Tango, Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 36, then Charlie, Yankee, Alpha.
Taxi to runway 18 via Whiskey 2, Charlie, Yankee and Alpha, virtual 073. Okay, that's straightforward. Okay, straighten that view up. So I've been playing around with the settings for the Tobii Eye Tracker, and I think I've got it pretty much how I want it. I might still play with it a bit more, but okay, we are rolling. Do we get an en route map over here? Charts. Yes, we do. Oh, it's a really nice one.
Lima November Bravo Oscar Mike, contact tower on 118.655. Tower Lima November Bravo Oscar Mike. Virtual 073, hold short of runway 36, Skyhawk on the runway.
We'll hold short runway 36, virtual 073.
Lima November Uniform Golf Alpha, runway 18, taxi via Whiskey, Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 36, then Charlie, Yankee Alpha.
Runway 18, taxi via Whiskey, Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 36, then Charlie, Yankee Alpha Lima, November Uniform Golf Alpha.
Sim there, isn't it? Ground virtual 073, holding short runway 36.
Virtual 073, contact tower on 118.655 for departure clearance.
Just requesting taxi to runway 18 for the moment via Yankee.
Virtual 073, runway 18, taxi via Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 36, then Charlie, Yankee, Alpha.
Holding short runway 36, requesting permission to cross.
Virtual 073, hold short of runway 36, 737 on the runway.
Yeah, we weren't quick enough. We're going to have to wait for him now. Can see him manoeuvring down there. Is he going straight away? Looks like it. Okay. Ground Virtual 073 requesting permission to cross runway 36.
Virtual 073, cross runway 36, approved.
Crossing runway 36, Virtual 073. Okay, while we're going, let's go and set the auto brakes to max, and we just need to do the takeoff config test when we get down to the holding point. Whoa!
Approaching runway 36.
What went on there? I think the tiller is quite slow to respond.
36.
Virtual 073, hold short of runway 36, caravan on the runway.
Already crossed runway 36, clear of runway, Virtual 073.
Lima November, Uniform Golf Alpha, cross runway 36.
Cross runway 36, Lima November, Uniform Golf Alpha.
Lima November, Victor Juliet, Juliet ready to taxi. Lima November, Victor Juliet, Juliet, runway 18, taxi via Whiskey, Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 36, then Charlie, Yankee Alpha. Runway 18, taxi via Whiskey, Whiskey 2, hold short of runway 36, then Charlie, Yankee Alpha, Lima November, Victor Juliet, Juliet.
Tower Virtual 073 holding short runway 18 for departure.
Virtual 073 Torp Tower, runway 18, winds 220 at 3, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 18 of Virtual 073. So we're going to roll out onto the runway when we start moving. There we go. Just sorting the lights out.
Approaching runway 18.
Lima, November, Victor, Juliet, hold short of runway 36.
36 holding short, Lima, November, Victor, Juliet, Juliet.
Okay, we just got to do the takeoff config test and then we'll be good to go. Just lining up. Take the head tracking off to do this quickly.
Runway 18.
So if you look here, if we press takeoff config, it goes to normal. So we are good to go. Just quick check of the instruments. Parking brake off. Throttles forward to toga. Takes them a second to respond. Reduce that range on the navigation display and straighten ourselves up. Coming up towards rotate.
Holding short of runway 36, Lima, November, Victor, Juliet,
A
Juliet.
bit of a crosswind, look at it pushing us. Gear up. Auto throttle is on, autopilot is on. Watching the speed before we go back to the climb detent. The nose will drop in a moment. It's just coming down.
Contact Ferris departure on 124.355.
Throttle to climb. Going to Ferris departure 124.355, virtual 073, good day. Ferris departure, virtual 073 with you climbing 4,000 feet.
Virtual 073, Ferris departure, radar contact, climb flight level 080.
Climbing flight level 080, virtual 073. Okay, that's that done. We'll go and turn the, the TCAS over to TARA now. Now we're away from the airport. Aeroplane's following the flight plan. We've got a max 220 knots at the moment, so there's no point lifting the flaps just yet. As soon as we get past here, we will raise the flaps.
Climb flight level 130.
Climbing flight level 130, virtual 073. So we're going to go open climb. And it's dipping the nose to accelerate to 250 knots immediately. It's all looking fairly straightforward. Don't need the ground spoilers anymore. The transition altitude was 7,000 feet, if you remember, so as we come through 7,000, we will go and pull the barometric pressure knobs, which will calibrate the altimeters. We'll have to remember to do the standby one as well.
Lima, November, Uniform Golf.
I'm not sure if they're synchronized. There's an option for it, obviously. We'll find
Lima,
out.
November, Uniform Golf, Alpha,
So it goes 7,000 feet.
VFR altitudes.
So yeah, they're independent of each other. Look.
Up to 3,000, Lima, November, Uniform Golf, Alpha.
So this needs to be 1013 now. And then next thing we do, 10,000 feet, will be turn the landing lights off. Taxi lights can come off already. Let's have a look from outside. Just about to come through 10,000 feet, so our landing lights go to off and retracted. and we're on our way into the sky. So we're climbing to 13,000 feet initially. We'll be looking for higher very soon.
Dear guests,
Let's go and have a look at this standard instrument departure, shall we, and see if that was a constraint along the way. Don't think it was, no.
Thank you for flying with Norwegian Airlines.
But the flight plan as filed, flight level 130, look, until we get to Lilba. So let's go and see where Lilba is. It's up here, look. So we stay at flight level 130, and then we're doing effectively step climbs along the way, so we should get clearance for higher at Lilba. We'll see what happens. Let's go and have, just out of interest. So then 370 at Somub. Now that's not going to appear because of the way this draws the... Oh no, Somub is there, sorry.
Nordic 4437, contact Oslo Tower on 118.305.
Okay.
118.305 for Nordic 4437.
Nordic 4464,
So let's increase the
contact
range.
Oslo Tower on 118.305.
So there's somebody out ahead of us, 1,800 feet below us.
Nordic 4464.
Somebody dead level with us over there, but they're 10
Lima
miles
November
away.
Uniform Golf Alpha, contact Polaris Control on 127.255.
Should be terrain on.
127.255. Lima November Uniform Golf Alpha.
Dear guests, we are now at cruising
Lima
altitude
November
on the
Bravo
capital
Zulu
in the
Quebec,
Snap
contact
Beverage
Polaris
Lounge.
Control on
We invite you to enjoy
118.83.
rules and a selection of refreshing
Over to
beverages
Polaris
from our
Control on
menu. After the service, you
118.83,
will also
Lima
have the
November Bravo
opportunity to
Zulu
browse
Quebec.
selected items from the Norwegian Airlines
Scandinavian
shop.
5334, contact Oslo Tower on 118.305.
118.305 for Scandinavian 5334.
I'm getting a bit worried about that aeroplane. It's only 1,600 feet below us. And we're getting closer. It's only 5 miles away. It's probably going to set off the TCAS alarms in a moment. Can we see?
Lima November, Lima X-ray, Foxtrot,
Oh, we're in
contact
cloud as well.
Munich radar on
2.5 miles in front of us.
126.175. 126.175 for Lima November, Lima X-ray, Foxtrot.
Get ready for a TCAS alarm. It might be okay with that. Oh, it's getting closer to us in altitude. This is not good. It's obviously climbing because it's staying a consistent distance away, but we're faster.
Victor Juliet, Juliet 2000 for 4,000. Lima November, Victor Juliet, Juliet radar contact, VFR altitudes.
Maybe 1,000 feet is enough.
Lima November, Victor Juliet, Juliet.
Where is it? Right underneath us. There it is. It's a little aeroplane. But yeah, so obviously 1,000 feet or more was enough for TCAS not to be triggered. Just me being vigilant, I guess. And paranoid. So we're okay. So we should, let's go and have a look at our flight plan. LVOM, then M125 to Lilba, and then we get cleared up to 360.
Lima November, Victor Juliet, Juliet contact Polaris Control on 118.83.
I guess being in the cloud, we need to be aware of temperatures,
Lima November, Victor Juliet,
just in
Juliet.
case we get any icing warnings. pop up. So obviously you've got the temperatures down here if you
White
went
row
away.
8134, contact Polaris Control
It's looking
on
okay at the moment.
127.255.
127.255 for White row 8134.
I always forget to start the chronograph at the start of the flight to time it. Be quite a nice thing to do.
Lima November, Lima X-ray, Foxtrot contact Oslo Tower on 118.305.
So we're tootling along at
118.305.
13,000 feet until we get to Lillebird, then we should get cleared up to 360, hopefully. Or was it 37? I think it was in 2 goes, wasn't it? Yeah, 36 and then 37 at Somub.
Ryanair 7887, contact Polaris Control
Price
on
detective.
127.255.
127.255 for Ryanair 7887.
I mean, this one's automatic anyway, but we're just going to go and put the anti-ice measures in place. I did wonder if that was going to happen flying through all of this cloud. Yeah, I'm just going to follow the air traffic services instructions. I'm not going to... we could ask for higher now, couldn't we? Should we try it? This is one of the nice things about Say Intentions, is you can do this. Faris departure, virtual 073, requesting climb to cruise because we're getting icing.
Virtual 073, climb flight level 360.
Climbing flight level 360, virtual 073. There we go. That was nice of them, wasn't it? So we'll just do an open climb straight up to 360. There we go, look, open climb, I pull the knob, and we're on our way. So as soon as we climb out of the cloud, I'll go turn the icing measures off, and we should be good to go. Climbing at nearly 3,000 feet a minute. Wow. This thing goes upstairs like a rocket ship, doesn't it? You can see the water on the wings, look. They're soaking. We'll be out of it soon though. Once you get to high enough altitudes, it's too cold to rain, which is quite quite nice. Look at that water streaming up the windscreen and down the sides. So can we show the aeroplane on here? Yeah, there it is, look, the little aeroplane. And can we... oh, it's centering on its own. Good. And zoom out, I guess. Let's get the simplified
Lima
route.
November, Kilo Sierra Golf, contact Oslo Tower on 118.305.
118.305 for Lima November, Kilo Sierra Golf. Good day.
Virtual 073, contact Polaris Control on 127.255.
Was that for us? Contacting Polaris Control 127.255, virtual 073, good day. Polaris Control, virtual 073 with you, climbing to flight level 360.
Virtual 073, Polaris Control identified. Good evening.
Little way to go yet, and then hopefully we'll be out of the top of this cloud. It looks very atmospheric though, doesn't it? Let's put the head tracking on so it looks like a bit more organic for you. You can have a look around the cockpit. That does look awesome, doesn't it? See the fjords out there below the, or through the cloud. I really love flying around this part of the world in the simulator because both the landscapes and the weather can be very dramatic, especially down in the south of Norway. Here comes the water again. It's not great, is it? No wonder we're having to put the anti-ice measures in place. I'm not sure, I've never read up on it, of how the leading edge or the wing anti-ice measures work on the Airbus. Are they automatic or do you have to turn them off and on? Presumably, yeah, because the wing one, look, it's only got an on and off. I wonder if it cycles automatically with pulsing to break the ice up. Because, although I'm not sure the bigger jets have got boots, have they? Because smaller aeroplanes like turboprops and stuff, they have actual boots that inflate or flex to break the ice. I'm not sure the big jets do. We're just coming out of the top of the cloud now, look. Although that's still in our flight path. Coming up through 21,000 feet, nearly 22,000 feet. Should go and put Amanda's tablet on. Give her the map. There we go. Am I in career mode or free flight? I'm doing a free flight. So this is not career mode. Running on a PC, this is not the PlayStation or the Xbox. So hence why I've got, or I am able to have Say Intentions running, which is providing the air traffic services and injecting aircraft around us. So we get to hear those aeroplanes on the radio as well. So Say Intentions does all of that for us. Over the next few weeks I'm going to be exploring some extra bits and pieces in Say Intentions that I've not looked at before. One of those is the text messaging integration built into the MCDU, where you can receive messages for like flight level changes and things like that as messages in the cockpit instead of over the radio, which is the more modern way of doing it, to be honest. So when you're in busy airspaces, rather than reaching out to you over the radio, air traffic services will ping your aeroplane a message and you can confirm it, you know, with a few button presses that you have understood and you're executing what they've asked you to do. But yeah, so some certain aeroplanes within the simulator have that integrated in. So the INI builds aeroplanes tend to have it. The Fenix has got it. I think it's called CPDLC. You'll have to take that on with a pinch of salt. I may have got the acronym wrong. So we're being told in the live stream that the weather is broken in career mode. Well, I imagine career mode is a different story, isn't it? Because I guess they have to fix it in order to have particular flights. I remember when I did look at career mode when it first came out, and some of the mixtures of aeroplane and weather conditions made it very, very difficult, if not impossible. So several flights with a turboprop, I had to try them several times. I remember the King Air with one particular flight, or maybe I can't remember now what one of the turboprops, but yeah, it was very, very dicey, and it took all of my experience with side slipping and flaps and all kinds of things to get the airplane down in one piece. Okay, so I'm turning head tracking back off. I think we're out of icing range now, so this can all be turned back off. So if you remember, we went for flight level 360 early, so we won't be getting any step climbs at Lilba. We'll potentially get clearance up to 370 at Somub though, but it's a little way away from us yet. If we go and increase the range, you see there's SOMUB just coming into view. It's 160 miles out from us. Let's turn the terrain radar off. We don't really need to worry about the ground at these altitudes. And we're on our way to Tromso. Should we ask the cabin crew if we can have something to drink? Hi, can we get some coffee in the cockpit, please? I think I've got the buttons
Understood,
configured.
Captain. We'll bring coffee to the flight deck now.
Very good. And let's talk to the co-pilot. Hi Amanda, how is it going so far?
Everything's going smoothly, Jonathan. Just keeping an eye on the instruments.
So these are extra features also that Say Intentions brings to the party. So on the PC version of Flight Simulator you can obviously run Say Intentions in the background, and it gives you your co-pilot, it gives you the crew on board the aeroplane, it gives you the air traffic services, and it gives you aircraft injection. It's very good. If we go and look on LittleNavMap, we can actually see the simulated aircraft nearby. So there's us. If I turn it on, you can see there they are. So these are aeroplanes that are being put in the airspace around us by Say Intentions, and we'll be able to hear them on the radio when they need to. So although I haven't played with the CPDLC yet, if we go and look in MCDU and go to ATSU and AOC, you should find it in here. Yeah, so I haven't connected it yet, but I think it will come up here as connected but I need to go and do some reading about it to find out how to configure it properly. I did find it in the Fenix app, so while you're running the sim, if you go and look in the Fenix A320 app, and you can put in your Hoppy code there, so obviously that will then connect it through. Let's just go and check around the airplane, make sure we've switched everything off we should have done. Yeah, it's looking good. We would get messages, to be honest, up here if we hadn't. It's coming up to 30,000 feet. Predicting in about 40 miles time we'll get to 36,000 feet. I'm guessing we could let the passengers get up now, really, couldn't we? We've got seatbelt signs on at the moment. We'll wait till we get to cruise.
Captain, we are bringing coffee to the flight deck now. It should be there shortly.
Very cool. Oh, so I'm just reading the live stream comments. The weather was working before, now it isn't. There'll obviously be another patch, won't there? They're usually pretty quick with things like that. And I know people complain, but I would imagine that they're now testing for Windows, Xbox, and PlayStation 5. And they're not only testing that the aeroplanes fly correctly and that the avionics work. It's worth pointing out there's going to be another update on the 5th of May, I think it was, or was it the 4th? I think it was the 5th. There's going to be an aircraft and avionics update with a huge load of aeroplanes coming through with new versions, which will include the ATR apparently. I think they said the ATR. But there's going to be a whole new radio unit that wasn't simulated properly before. I think it's coming from the working title group. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes. But maybe they'll sneak the fixes for the weather in with that as well. Because there's obviously, yeah, this big update coming. And anything obvious like, you know, weather missing is going to be patched pretty quickly. Well, you would hope so anyway. Okay, so while we are in cruise, I'm going to ask my co-pilot to take over doing the sector handoffs for me. So, hi Amanda, can you take over radio communications for a while?
Sure, I'll take over the radio communications.
So I just need to sort out switching off the seatbelt sign when we get to cruise, and then I'm going to go make a coffee. So we'll have a little while until we get to top of descent, which is going to be at 7 minutes past 7 according to this. It's predicting, so in about an hour's time.
Polaris Control, Scandinavian 8927, flight level 350.
It's a pretty good crosswind we got there, isn't it? 77 knot crosswind. So just coming up towards 36,000 feet. Let's go and turn the passenger seatbelt sign off. Hi cabin crew, you can let the passengers get up now. We have a company message, let's go and check.
Copy,
So we
Captain.
go
Passengers are now free to move
MCU,
about the cabin.
Atsu, AOC, received messages, VFA ops, and no ADC. So we've got no, we weren't late taking off basically. If you are, you have to fill in a form explaining why. And I think it's hidden in here, or it used to be. Here we go, delay allocation card, and this tells you your codes for filing your late report of why you were late. Okay, so you can see we've got quite a long way to go. Okay, I'm going to go grab a coffee. Obviously, as you will have heard, we'll get a step climb up to 370 at SOMAB, I believe, so we'll wait and keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, what we're going to do during the middle of the flight, so feel free to go and wander off, you don't have to sit and watch me like a lemon, because I'm not going to be here for a few minutes. I'm going to go, I've got a little trick here. I can open window layout in LittleNavMap. I've got a stored, all I've done is turned all of the dialogues off. So we can zoom that out and give us some idea of where we are en route, make it smaller, put it up in the corner. We'll also go into the taskbar settings of Windows, hide the taskbar by default, so then when we click focus somewhere else, we get that. So then we can do something like that. Oh, there's a graphic anomaly there. Look, that's new. And we can see where we are on the map here, look. So we know we're going to get altitude instructions at the next waypoint. So anyway, I'm going to wander off and get a coffee, and I'll be back with you fairly soon. I'll leave a message on the live stream as well.
Virtual 073, contact Polaris Control on 131.105.
Switching to Polaris Control on 131.105. Virtual 073. Polaris Control, Virtual 073. Good evening with you, flight level 360.
Virtual 073, good evening. Radar contact confirmed at flight level 360.
Flight level 360, Virtual 073.
Hi, Captain Jonathan. Would you like anything to drink or a small snack while we're cruising?
Okay, I am temporarily back. So, we're looking at the airplane. Why are we descending? What's going on? The airplane is wandering around, isn't it? Maybe that was a weather change that just happened. So what have we had happen in St. Intentions recently? So, okay, Polaris did a handoff. So when we come through SOMAB, looking at the flight plan, we should get clearance up to 370. Let's see what happens, shall we? And Navigraph, I wonder if they'll ever fix that bug with Navigraph. We might get another sector handoff in a moment, you know. Depends if this is a different sector or not. Looks like this is all the same one around here. $650. Yeah, no, this is the same thing, I think. It's very difficult sometimes to read the way these charts are drawn, which sector you're in at a given time. It's almost better. I know it's a VFR chart, but if you go and look on here, it's much more obvious. But obviously that's not sectors at high altitude. Okay, let's just go and to check the volumes as well, make sure they're looking good. Yeah, that's all fine. Okay, let's see what happens with air traffic services. Will they give us another 1,000 feet? Yeah, we're wandering around a little bit. The air pressure must be wavering around. So flight director should kick off to the right any moment. There it goes. Polaris Control, Virtual 073, requesting climb, flight level 370.
Climbing flight level 370, Virtual 073.
Okay, so open climb 370.
Flight level 370, Virtual
You'll see
073.
the engine's spinning up, look, to maintain speed. There goes the climb rate. So it's just up to our final cruise altitude and off we go. Across Norway. So increase range out to maximum distance on the navigation display. So we'll be anticipating top of descent at 6 minutes past 7 UTC. If we got a clock in here, yeah, there we go, look, 18:23, so we got about half an hour, so no, sorry, 3/4 of an hour until top of descent. So I'm going to step away, I'll let the flight carry on its own. We'll put it on the outside view where it's quite nice and pretty out here, and we'll put LittleNavMap on, and I'll be with you at top of descent, which you can see is way further down the track. I'm not going to pay too much attention to what. Let's go and have a look. Where is this saying that top of descent will happen? Before Atweg. So if we go and have a look at this, it should be here. This is nonsense. So top of descent should be somewhere along here. So obviously around the time we get to Penno, I'll be back in the cockpit to help, or somewhere in between these two anyway, to see what's going on. Okay, I'll catch you a bit later on. Our trusty co-pilot Amanda will be doing sector changes along the way. But yeah, I'll see you later.
Virtual 073, contact Polaris Control on 125.705.
Switching to Polaris Control on 125.705. Virtual 073. Polaris Control, Virtual 073. Good evening with you, flight level 370.
Virtual 073, Polaris Control identified. Good evening. Virtual 073, expect the Atwick 2 mic arrival. Descent in about 20 minutes.
Expecting the ATWE 2 mic arrival. Virtual 073.
Ocean 7121, radar contact.
Polaris Control, Ocean 4838, flight level 330.
Ocean 4838, radar contact. Virtual 073, contact Polaris Control on 118.555.
Switching to Polaris Control on 118.555. Virtual 073. Polaris Control, Virtual 073. Good evening at flight level 370.
Virtual 073, Polaris Control identified. Good evening.
Okay, just going to check volumes. Yeah, you can hear me. It's about time we got back in the cockpit because we are approaching top of descent soon, as you can see. Let's bring the range down to 80 miles. So we're about 30 miles away from top of descent. Let's go and recap what's been going on with air traffic services. So we're in Polaris control still. It's all looking fine. Let's go and pull up LittleNavMap, put it back on the normal view. Open window layout default and go and have a look. So you can see the predicted top of descent for LittleNavMap is in roughly the right place. And we'll go and have a reacquaint ourselves with Navigraph then with the approach. So at Tweg we come down and we got some altitudes we need to be aware of. So above 5,000 feet, and then looking fairly straightforward actually. And then ILS Zulu into Tromso. So we're coming in 4,500 feet into Baksas, which is here. And then we've got a 4-degree glide slope down towards runway 18.
073, descend via Atwick 2 Mike to 5,000 into Tromso.
Oh, runway 14, sorry.
1000.
No, runway 18. Why is that saying...
Descend via ATWE 2
Oh,
Mike
sorry.
to 5,000
Yeah,
into
okay.
Tromso.
14 feet.
QNH 1000. Virtual 073.
So we've got some communication going on there, look. So, hi Amanda, I will take over radio communications now.
All right, Jonathan, you're in charge of the radio communications now.
So descend via Atwi to Mike to 5,000 into Tromso. So we're going to set 5,000 and we're going to go managed mode. And we've just caught it in time, look, it's holding the profile dots. Or is it going to?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have left our cruising altitude and have started our...
Yeah, so it's coming down at 1,000 feet a minute. So we're going a little bit steeper than the flight plan, or a little bit early, I should say. So it's going to hold at 1,000 feet a minute, which is what VNAV on the Airbuses does. And then the profile for descent will catch up with us en route in a few miles' time, I guess. So let's go and put the seatbelt sign back on for the passengers. Now we are descending and we're on our way. So I'll go and unpin this message that I've put on the live stream.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your cabin crew speaking. The seatbelt sign has been turned on, and we kindly ask you to return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts. Please note that the lavatories are no longer available until the seatbelt sign is turned off.
Okay, so we should get a message saying enter, yeah, there we go, enter the destination data. So we'll clear that out. And we'll go into the performance pages and go next phase, and we've got the approach data for Tromso. And we'll go information and open the airport, go to the weather, and we should get wind 230 at 14. So let's put the QNH in first. So QNH on the ground is 1001. Temperature on the ground is 1 degree. Oh, let's listen to that. So we've just caught up with the descent profile and the engines have spooled right down to idle, and we are now descending at 4,000 feet a minute on the standard terminal arrival route, or STAR, into Tromso. You can see Tromso has just come into view there, about 80 miles out. Obviously we're going around it and coming back in. So next thing, so let's go and get this data done first. So we need to check the wind on the ground, so let's go and have a look. Where has Navigraph gone? Here it is. 230, 14 knots. So this is wildly wrong. So 230/14. Okay, so transition flight level is 075. Let's have a look. Transition altitude. Now that's not the level. So that's set by ATC. This is the flight level is the first flight level you can fly at above the transition altitude. Anyway, transition altitude is 7,000 feet. So that's the point we'll need to go and switch over. We do need to look at minimums. So if I come down here and look at the... Okay, this is the approach. Let's go and look at... Okay, it's a slightly different layout than normal. Okay, so altitude, we're looking at 288 if we've got radio. For the decision altitudes, so I'm just looking at that. Making sure I get the numbers right. So ILS decision altitude and then height, refer to minimums. So ILS, so that's altitude, that's height, so it's going to be the lower number, so 274 if we use the radio. Okay, it's a bit higher number than normal because it's a 4-degree glide slope. It's quite a short and difficult approach because, or not difficult, but there's hills around, so it's going to be, you're calling your minimum out quite a bit higher than you normally might. It's just about hanging on to the descent profile. I don't think we need to use spoilers. Got a bit of a crosswind, which isn't helping. But that's all done anyway, so we go back to the flight plan page just in case we need to do any vectoring on the way. Cool. So enjoy the descent, and if we go and have a look around, start to see some amazing landscape unfolding around us. Probably won't see it in detail though until we're a bit lower. This part of the world is quite spectacular, or I always think so anyway. So let's turn head tracking off for the moment so we can actually concentrate on what we're doing. You can see the aeroplane is following the plan, so I'll bring this down to 40 miles so we get to see what's going on. We're still trailing a little bit behind profile, so we may catch up because when you turn you sink anyway, but I'm going to go and deploy spoilers gently to let the aeroplane catch up with the descent profile. You can see it's doing it, look. So I've only put speed brakes on the first setting. So what that's actually doing, you'll have seen this if you've been on any commercial flights. It's opened the flaps up above the wings to make the aeroplane slip through the air less well, which means it can descend at the same speed at a greater descent rate. Look at that scenery down there. That's awesome, isn't it? Just panning around to get a look at some of the scenery around us. Obviously, haven't really done this during the flight, but we get this wonderful model of the aeroplane that we hardly ever look at. Stunningly put together piece of kit.
Virtual 073, contact Polaris Control on 126.705.
Contacting Polaris Control 126.705, Virtual 073, good day. So we're going to contact Polaris Control. We want to tell them what we're doing. Polaris Control, Virtual 073, descending on the A320 mic, arrival into Tromso, descending 5,000 feet.
Virtual 073, Polaris Control identified. Good afternoon.
Okay, that's all we need to know for the moment. We carry on downwards. Speed brakes are still out. Let's try removing the speed brakes and see if we can maintain the descent profile. Depending on the wind direction, if it's changed since the plan was done, this is how you end up behind the profile. We'll also clean up the map a little bit later on. I just want to see this just for your interest, really. So we get to see the terrain on the navigation display. So we've got constraints being shown, but they won't really show up until I think it's when you bring the range down. It should work at 40 miles, but it gets a bit cluttered. Yeah, you can see some of the constraints are showing. They also show on here, so you'll see stars next to the constraints and larger lettering as well to highlight. So at 7,000 feet, remember, we're going to need to change the altimeter to 1001. They'll probably tell us over the radio anyway, though. At 10,000 feet, obviously, we bring the landing lights on. So we're turning towards the approach. See some lovely scenery appearing through the clouds of the fjords below us. Let's have a little look on the map and see what our actual route in is like. So we're just turning here, look, and we're going to fly north of Tromso and then turn around and come in via ILS.
Virtual 073, contact Tromso approach on 123.755.
Contacting Tromso approach 123755, virtual 073, good day. So we're going to do the same again with Tromso approach. We're going to let them know what we're doing. Tromso approach, virtual 073 with you, descending on the A320 mic, arrival into Tromso, expecting ILS for runway 18.
Virtual 073, Tromso approach identified, welcome and cleared non-route transition. Expect the ILS Yankee runway 18 approach into Tromso.
Expecting the Yankee 18 approach into Tromso, virtual 073. So let's go change that. We put Zulu in, remember? It just means that there'll be a different angle onto the onto the final approach. So we've got ILS 18 Zulu. We want ILS 18 Yankee. And the A320 mic.
Nordic 8587, contact Polaris Control on 126.705.
So insert that. And then clear
126.705 for Nordic 8587.
Discontinuity. That's the OGBOD bit, and then insert that. Let's go and push this up. Clear that. That's all still knitting up, that's good. Okay, we're still on profile, coming down to 15,000 feet. We'll bring the range down on the navigation displays.
Virtual 073, slow to 170 knots for spacing 320 Neo in trail.
Slowing to 170 knots, virtual 073. We'll use the spoiler to make that happen quickly. We're going to have to put flaps out to avoid stalling. Not a problem. So spoilers will help us as well, so we can go flaps 1, not quite yet. You can see the marker there on the airspeed ribbon, where at the point at which we can go for flaps. So we're going to do it now. They take a while to travel, so it's not a major concern if you just toggle them quickly. And then the next flap level will be 200. You've actually got a little reference over here, look, 200 knots, flaps 2. So we're going way high on our descent profile now because they've done this to us. So we may have to have some fun and games with extending long to get down in time. We'll see what happens. So who's in our way? Let's go and have a look on the map. I can't see anyone else. Oh, did I turn them off? I did. So they're doing this because there was a 7.3. Was that him? But he's got loads of clearance. Scandinavian. No, it's an Airbus. So why are they telling us to do this? Because that's throwing us out enormously. So we're now at 170 knots. Who are we talking to? Let's go and let them know. Make them feel guilty about it. Tromso approach, virtual 073, now at 170 knots.
Virtual 073, no traffic ahead, resume normal speed.
Resuming normal speed, virtual 073. So we can go back to manage mode. That was a waste of time, wasn't it? So it will do this by diving at the floor rather than opening the engines up, which will catch us back up with the profile probably. So I've raised the flaps and the aeroplane's diving at the floor. Let's keep an eye on the... Look, it's descending 3,000 feet a minute. So yeah, it's going to catch back up with the profile. That was rather handy.
073 cleared for the ILS runway 18 approach via non-RU.
Cleared via the ILS runway 18 approach via non-RU, virtual 073. Okay, so we're back on plan. And here comes the engines. So now they've finished descending and it's matched the profile. Look, it's speeding up, going for 250 knots, and then it will start decelerating again. It will come back to 220 in a moment. So let's go and pull this down to 10 miles so we can see in detail. So we have to be above 5,000 feet at non-RU, and then we turn right. It's saying the speed brakes are still out. Of course they are, yes. Let's get rid of that. When we were doing our falling out of the sky trick. And here comes the scenery. Oh, I love this scenery around here. It's amazing. So let's go and enjoy it, shall we? And we're going to get the sunset as well.
126.705 for wide row 2421.
Wide row 2421, contact Polaris control on 126.705.
So we should stay on Tromso approach until we straighten up.
Now beginning our final approach into Tromso. Please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Kindly put your tray tables.
So it's saying here I'm still, yeah, someone's saying it does look like, oh, I didn't confirm the approach, did I? To be honest, it's not going to make any difference because all it's going to do is cut this corner off. So I'm going to leave us on the Zulu approach. Yeah, well spotted there. I'm just using the spoilers to help it get back to 220 knots fairly quickly. So we can go flaps 1. It's complaining because I went a little bit early for flaps 1. That's fine. I just want to get us lined up sooner rather than later. So we're just making this turn. If we had done Yankee, we would just have turned a little bit earlier across this corner. That's all. That's the only difference between Zulu and Yankee. Okay, so we can go flaps 2 at 200 knots. Obviously we're not there yet. We should have had the landing lights on by now. Let's go do that. Let's turn off the terrain. It's of no real use to us at this point. So we need to get we're below 7,000 feet now, so we need this to be correct.
40 Papa Bravo, contact Polaris Control on 126.705.
126.705 for Whisker 40 Papa Bravo.
Okay, what is complaining? Go. Oh, it's overspeeding, that's why. On the flaps. That's interesting. Cannot handle it. Because of the wind, I'm guessing. Yeah, we were downwind then. Oh, it's lost the autopilot, that's why. I wonder if I had a control glitch that threw the autopilot out. Or maybe it was the overspeed. It's going to kick back anyway. We could just take over control now and fly it manually, to be honest. As you can see, we've got quite a long run in.
073, contact Tromso Tower on 118.305 when established.
Contacting Tromso Tower 118.305, virtual 073, good day. So, we'll go and switch this over to landing system mode. You can see we're off to the left, which is to the right, sorry, which is what we expected. There's the runway. So we're going to cancel the autopilot. That will cause an alarm. We have to go and press the button here to stop it, and then we can land the thing. Okay, here comes the localizer, there's the glide slope. We have to press that button to make that sound go away.
059er 6.
Tromso Tower, virtual 073 with you engaged on localizer, runway 18. So let's go and straighten this up. Should we
073, Tromso Tower identified.
put the head tracking on so we can look outside and see some of this lovely scenery?
073, runway 18, winds 250 at 13, cleared to land.
Let's get the gear down. A little bit high at the moment. We've got a 30 knot crosswind, which is lovely and helpful. We've got the auto throttle is still on, which is good. It's just bringing us down to 140 knots. It's got quite a good crab angle at the moment.
Ready for pushback. Finnair 49er 88, pushback approved.
We skim this hill quite close, don't we?
Approved. Finnair 49er 88.
Okay, hands on the throttles, ready to go. Lights are on, flaps are down, gear is down. Still got the speed brakes out, they can go away now. That wind is a so-and-so. This is one of those times when I'm debating going to manual throttles because the computer can't react as fast as a human can. Oh, it's getting calmer. We've still got a 30 knot crosswind though, that's super helpful. So I haven't flown the Fenix for about 6 months. So this is going to be interesting to see if I manage to judge the rotation correctly for the flare.
1,000.
I mean, obviously it can land itself, but where's the fun in that? We're a little bit low. Let's just tip the nose up just gently. The wind is slowly abating, but not much. It's saying ground spoilers aren't armed, but I don't want to look away.
Approaching runway 18.
A little bit high. Engines to idle.
50, 40, 30, 20, retard. 7, 5.
Okay, there we go. You have to be careful with reversers not to use them until you're going too slowly, because otherwise you'll start to ingest rubbish off the runway. Not that there should be any rubbish on the runway.
Virtual 073, exit at Charlie if able. Taxi to terminal gate 23 via Charlie. Yankee stay on this frequency.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tromso. Did you know that Tromso is often referred to as the gateway to the Arctic? Thank you for flying with Norwegian Airlines. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. On behalf of your flight crew,
Okay, let's go and see those instructions. Taxi to terminal gate 23 via Charlie, Yankee. Taxiing to terminal gate 23 via Charlie, and then Yankee will stay on this frequency, virtual 073. So let's go and have a look at the map.
Approaching runway 36.
And flight number DY 634 to Bordeaux. Departs at 10:30 p.m.
So yeah, we didn't get off at Charlie. We went a bit long because we floated, and that's just experience with the aeroplane. If we'd known it better, we would have come off the auto throttle earlier and flared earlier across the runway, and then we probably would have made Charlie. Okay, so then Yankee, and then gate 23. They're not numbered on this chart, so we need to go to the charts for Tromso, look at the taxi charts, and we want the parking stands. Will this show us if we zoom in? And, oh, there's 2-3. Okay, so it's at the end of the building on the right hand end. So the last jet bridge, basically. So we're next door to the turboprop there. Ah, they're marked here, look. Because I've got the decent version of Tromso, it's actually marked really nicely for us. We are going to have to go a bit to the right of the line, otherwise we'll hit the jet bridge, I think. Should we have a look at that from outside and see how close that's going to be? Very, very close. Okay, so there's obviously nobody directing us in either, so we've kind of overshot that a little bit, but we'll be alright. Okay, so on the system we can go and turn the taxi light off. Strobes can go to off as well, and then
Wide row 2421 ready to taxi.
back in here, go to Phoenix, ground services,
runway 18, taxi
we
via
want
Yankee
GPU,
Echo.
we want chocks and cones.
Runway 18 taxi via Yankee Echo.
Can
wide
we
row
control
2421.
the jet bridge from here? I don't know if we can.
5201 ready for pushback.
I'm not going to worry too much about that.
Nordic 5201, pushback approved.
Okay, so overhead we can go and
Pushback approved. Nordic 5201.
switch to external power, and then engines can come off. So the big clunk you heard is the relays going over to external power as the engines shut down, and then we can go and turn things off around the airplane. So that's all off. Seatbelt signs can come off. Hear Bedlam behind us all of a sudden. Disarm the emergency exit lights. Crew supply can come back off. Fuel pumps can come back off.
Cleared for push and start.
The
Ladies and
ADIRs
gentlemen,
can be
we have now
switched
parked at the
off.
gate. Please make sure to collect all your personal belongings. On behalf of all of us at Norwegian Airlines, thank you for flying with us. Welcome to Tromso.
Okay, we have a company message as well. Let's go and have a look at that.
Good day.
So MCDU, ATSU,
Good day.
AOC, and received messages and arrival message, and it's just confirming the date and time of arrival. Okay, so commence deboarding. Deboard. So will that make the bridge connect to us? I probably won't, will it? Although left one is opened. Oh, it does. It has connected automatically. Okay, so yeah, we're slightly out of position. They'll have to jump through the gap, I guess. That's quite amusing. Hey, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Yeah, there was a bit of a snafu there on my part where I didn't put the Yankee in time, and in order to not be doing things late, I just went with Zulu for the ILS. The only difference that really makes, if I show you on LittleNavMap, it's easier to show you here. If we went and... Oh, hang on, I need to jump off a second. I'll be back.
Lima November Juliet Kilo, contact departure.
Departure for Lima November Juliet Kilo.
Request pushback. Wizz Air 90585, cleared for push and start.
Pushback and start approved. Wizz Air 90585.
Nordic 5201, contact departure.
departure, Nordic 5201.
Echo Charlie, Echo Oscar, Quebec, ready to taxi. Echo Charlie, Echo Oscar, Quebec, runway 18, taxi via Yankee Echo.
Runway 18, taxi via Yankee Echo, Echo Charlie, Echo Oscar, Quebec.
Flight 059 or 9 or 6, holding short of 18, ready to go.
Flight 059 or 9 or 6, winds 230 at 14, runway 18, cleared for takeoff. Safe travels.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to take a phone call, and we're
takeoff,
back in the
18,
cockpit
Widow
and shutting the
5996.
aeroplane down, so passengers will have deboarded by now, hopefully. Should we ask the cabin crew? I've never tried this. Hi, cabin crew. Can you confirm if the passengers have now deboarded?
Yes, Captain. All passengers have now deboarded.
Fantastic. Right, so we can now go and remove the external power, and we can just go and turn the batteries off, and the aeroplane will go cold and dark very quickly. There you go, clonk. So you could see there's a difference in the last things to get power, and the standby attitude indicator obviously has its own power source, but it obviously is linked to the power to the rest of the system. So if it's in an intentional loss of power, it's not going to stay on, which is really cool. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. Apologies for disappearing for a couple of minutes there, and yeah, we'll have another go with the Fenix soon. As I said, there's this feature I want to go and have a play with.
Kilo Oscar Hotel, holding short of 18, ready to go.
Now, there's a bit of a misstep, and again, this is patchy between different aeroplanes.
12, runway 18, cleared for takeoff.
Some of the aeroplanes tell say intentions that there's no more power to the radios, which shuts up say intentions. But obviously this one doesn't, so we'll just go and do that. So yeah, as I said, I'm going to be looking at this feature that's built into the higher end or higher fidelity airplanes within the simulator, where you can receive messages from air traffic services rather than doing voice control for everything, which is a huge benefit in busy airspaces. So you don't have to wait in turn to talk or risk stepping on anybody. So you just get your message and confirm and follow the instructions straight through the flight management computers. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.